I'm not sure what I'm going to call this video yet. Ranking the NFC by positions? Ranking divisions by positions? Positional rankings? I don't know. But what we're doing in today's video is I am going to be going through every division in the NFC, and I am going to be ranking every position by division. If I even said that in the right order. I know it sounds confusing now, but I think it'll make sense when we start going. This is a trend I've been seeing on Twitter, TikTok, a bunch of different platforms recently. I thought it looked fun, and I thought it looked like something you guys would enjoy. If you want to see me do the AFC, make sure this video gets to 2,000 likes and I'll get it done. Couple things before we start today's video though. One, head over to gfuel.com, use code WyattzWorld, save yourself a discount on any G Fuel products. And two, if you're 18 years or older, head over to Prize Picks, the daily fantasy app, where code WyattzWorld will match up to $100 of your first deposit. But remember guys, always play responsibly, and let's get into today's video. Alright guys, so here's what we're going to be doing today. For every division in the NFC, we will have a list that looks like this: quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, O-line, defense, head coach. I will be going through each and every category and saying which team in the division has the best, second best, third best, and the worst at each position. Alright, let's get going with the quarterbacks. We're going Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott, Daniel Jones, Sam Howell. I feel like a lot of people are going to agree with that. Maybe some people would take Dak over Jalen, but I'm going to ask what kind of paint chips you're sniffing because it doesn't make a lot of sense. Otherwise, Danny's a clear number 3 there, and Howell, we know nothing about him. Moving on to running backs. As of this very moment, Saquon Barkley is still a Giant, so he is my number 1 in the division. After Saquon, we will go to Tony P, the new number 1 in Dallas, finally. After Tony, we'll give it to Philly with DeAndre Swift and their little committee that they have. It's actually pretty good there. And in dead last again, we got Washington with Antonio Gibson and Brian Robinson. They both suck. All right, looking at the receivers, and I'm gonna do cores. I guess I did running back cores too, kind of, but this one's tough. I'm gonna give it to Philly, and then Dallas, and then Washington, and then New York. Look, AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, that's unbeatable. Brandon Cooks and CD is really good, but unless they get D-Hop, they're not gonna overtake the Eagles. Then you got Washington behind them both with a very solid receiving core, just a little bit underdeveloped because they haven't had a good quarterback there. And finally, to no one shock, New York, because guys, I like you now, but your receivers are ass. Now we're on to tight ends. Dallas Goedert. Oh! Let me rewind that really quick. Darren Waller, Dallas Goedert, Logan Thomas, and Dallas's new tight end number 1, Jake Ferguson. You guys are gonna wake up every morning for the next 9 months and wish you had Dalton Schultz. Darren Waller, I do think, is slightly better than Goddard, although Goddard is elite, and Logan Thomas, if he stays healthy, he's actually pretty good, but he's never healthy. Now we're on to offensive lines. I'm gonna say some stupid shit here, I have a feeling. Still gonna go Philly, and then probably Dallas if they're all healthy, then New York, and then Washington. I just feel like New York has a good O-line that I'm really underrating, because in my last video I talked about one of their O-linemen and I didn't know who he was and I got yelled at. Alright, next up we got defenses as a whole. I could have done singular positions, I tried it, but it was literally just taking forever. Philly, Dallas, New York, and Washington. Philly's defense is still gonna be elite. The only real hole I might see is that they're safeties, but everything else is gonna be electric. New York, they're good, they're just young, and Washington, I think, is kind of by far the worst total defense there. Although their D-line is massively underrated. I mean massively. If Chase Young would stay healthy, they might be the best in the league. And ending, we got head coaches. We'll go Sirianni by a hair, then we got Daboll because he doesn't have hair. I'm just kidding, that was really mean. Then we'll go Mike McCarthy, and ending, we got Riverboat Ron. I mean, his time has been up for years at this point. And that's my positional rankings for the NFC East. How did I do? Now then, it is time for the NFC North. Starting with the quarterback situation, this one's gonna be Kirk Cousins by a smidge, and then we're gonna go to Jared Goff. And then up next, kind of by default, I think we're gonna have to add Justin Fields, and then bottoming is Jordan Love, but they're neck and neck. I really don't think Jordan Love is gonna be that bad. We just don't know enough about him, man. We've gotten to see a lot of Justin Fields over the last 2 years, and personally, I think the guy has potential to be a founding father of a dynasty that might be building in Chicago. After the quarterbacks, we're on to the the running backs. I'm actually gonna go Green Bay, 1 on this. Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon, like that's really good. Then we'll go the Vikings. They still have Cook, and Madison is good, but I don't expect Cook to be around. After the Vikings, we'll go to Detroit. They got Jahmyr Gibbs, who I think is gonna be elite, and David Montgomery, who we know is good. And bottoming, we got Chicago because they got Dante Foreman and Khalil Herbert, who should be the number 1. I don't know what's going on there. Now it's time to take a look at receivers. Minnesota by far. Then we'll move to, honestly, probably Detroit. St. Brown, Marvin Jones, Jamison Williams when he comes back. After Detroit, we're gonna go to Chicago. DJ Moore is good. Mooney, I think, is decent. Claypool could be very good, although his window is closing. And ending, we've got Green Bay because they've got Dobbs and Watson, and I don't even know who else. Now we move on to the tight ends. Minnesota in first with TJ Hawkinson. He's a top 5 tight end in the league. After Hawkinson, though, I'm going Cole Kmet, man. He's sneaky good. He ain't bad. Then I guess we'll go Brock White on the Lions because he's at least played. And bottoming, we got Green Bay because I believe they have a rookie. All right, up next, we got O-line. I feel like Detroit's pretty known for having like a top 10 O-line in the league. And we'll put Green Bay right behind them because if they have Bach, man, they're really solid. Then we'll probably stoop to Minnesota. Honestly, their O-line isn't as bad as people make it out to be, especially if Darashaw's healthy. I mean, he's really, really good. And then bottoming, we'll go with Chicago. They did improve their O-line this offseason, but I don't know if it's going to be better than Minnesota. If it is, it truly ain't better than Detroit or Green Bay. All right, now we got defenses, and a lot of stuff happened in this division this offseason, so I kind of had to think about it, but I think I'm honestly going to go Green Bay, Detroit, Chicago, and Minnesota. Green Bay's defense is just legitimately, like, good. They're really good. Lions, now, their secondary, which was their biggest need, got a huge buff. They got Cam Sutton and CJ Gardner-Johnson. I love that for them. Chicago, they still got a lot of pockets, but picking up Tremaine Edmonds is going to help them, and Minnesota really only added, Byron Murphy and Marcus Davenport. Byron's good. Davenport ain't going to play more than 4 games. And ending, we got head coaches. This is very odd. I'm going to go Campbell, O'Connell, LaFleur, Uberfluss. I just think Dan Campbell is one of the most likable people on planet Earth. He is my head coach. Then we got O'Connell, who I think is a very solid coach. He had 1 year in the league and he did an impeccable job at it. We got LaFleur dropping to 3 because, like I've reiterated, man, when it comes to change, that man can't adapt to shit. And Uberfluss, he hasn't had a fair shot. NFC North, complete. You guys ever eaten a German burger before? Sauerkraut, Swiss cheese, Thousand Island on top of a burger. I mean, it's literally toe curling good. Anyway, on to the NFC South. Starting with the quarterbacks, we are gonna go, actually, I saw a video on Twitter of the Bucs quarterbacks. Man, they all look like shit. 100% honesty. At this moment in time, it is easily Derek Carr, Desmond Ridder, yep, Bryce Young, and whoever the hell Tampa Bay is gonna start. Because like I said, they look awful. For anybody that's gonna say, oh, you saw one throw. No, there has been many videos of Baker Mayfield just sailing balls across people's heads. Bryce, we don't know about. Desmond doesn't look that bad. Derek is pretty good. Running backs. Oh, this one's tough. I'm gonna give number 1 to Kamara and Jamal Williams, though. Then 2 is Bijan Robinson and Algier. 3, not to repeat what I'm doing, but we'll go Miles Sanders, and 4 again is Tampa Bay. A little tougher here between the first 3, but Tampa Bay again just tanks. Now we're on to receivers. We'll go Tampa Bay. Quite the turnaround. Godwin and Evans are elite. Then we'll go to the Saints. They have Olave, Raheed Shaheed, Michael Thomas, Jarvis Landry. Like, they're great. Probably gonna go to the Panthers then with Adam Thielen and Terrence Marshall. And we'll end with the Falcons just because other than Drake London, like, I don't know anybody there. I think they're all terrible. Now we got tight ends. This might be the worst division of tight ends I've ever seen. This is Kyle Pitts, Hayden Hurst, Cade Otton, and whoever the Saints have. Like, this is literally terrible. Moving on, we got O-lines. Tampa in first with Wirfs and Ryan Jensen. Then probably Atlanta, considering their running backs went off last year. Oh, fuck. I'm lost here, boys. We'll go Saints and then Panthers. That's probably wrong. Now we got defense. I'm gonna go Saints, Falcons. I really like what they did this offseason, man. I think their secondary is gonna be elite. Bucks and then the Panthers. I think all these defenses are actually pretty good. The Bucks, I slightly take just star power over the Panthers, but the Panthers do have a lot of young guys that I really like J.C. Horn, Derek Brown. Brian Burns, I don't know if he's that young. Maybe he is. But that'll bring us to head coaches. Oh, boy. Arthur, Frank, and then the scum category is Dennis Allen and Todd Bowell movements. They don't even deserve to be in the same category as these two. These are 2 of the worst fucking head coaches in the history of football right here. I hate them both. All right, and we are now at the final list of the day, and that is the NFC West, of course. So starting with the quarterbacks, we've got a huge mess. Shit, man, I'd probably go Stafford, Kyler on a good day, then 30-year-old Gino, who's just entering his Linsanity run. And since I just don't know who the starting quarterback for San Francisco is, I can't pick one of them. Now we look at running backs. Pretty simple here. We got CMC, then we got Kenneth Walker the 8th. Give it to James Conner, and no, we won't. Give it to Cam Akers and then James Conner. I'm a Cam Akers believer. I think the guy is actually gonna turn it around this year. I really do. Now we look at wide receivers. Ooh, god damn, son. Fuck me to tears. We're gonna go Seattle at 1. Then we'll go San Fran right behind him with Debo and Ayuk. I mean, that's really, really good. Then we'll go to LA because aside from Cooper Kupp, like, I don't think they got much anymore. And we will bottom with the Cardinals because they have Hollywood and that's about it. D-Hop is cut! Tight ends. Kittle, Higbee, Ertz. No, Noah Fant, and then Ertz. I'm sorry, it sounds like I'm just taking a big dump on Arizona right now. I'm not. I'm just doing some critical thinking. Zach Ertz is old and he's hurt all the time. Seahawks have Noah Fant. I'm a believer in him. I think he's fast as shit. Now we look at O-lines. Oh, San Fran by a mile, and then probably Seattle. Maybe I'll be nice to Arizona. Give them 3, and then the Rams at 4. I guess the Cardinals did just draft an O-lineman anyway, so that would make sense, but the Rams O-line is terrible. Now we got the defenses. 49ers, Seahawks, not far behind it, honestly. Their defense is pretty damn good. Then we'll go Rams. They still have Aaron Donald, I guess. That's good. And we'll end with the Cardinals, who have nobody, and I believe Buddha wants out too. And to end it, we've got the head coaches. Shanny, McVay, Pete, and Gannon. For the record, Shanahan, McVay, and Pete Carroll, they're all top 10 coaches in the league, so. Anyway, that is all I got for the NFC West, and that's all I got for the NFC. We are done, but like I said, guys, 2,000 likes and I will do the AFC. However, with everything I just said, I'm gonna hop off and get this all edited so you guys can watch it on time. I hope you enjoyed this video. Show any support. You guys know I appreciate it, and as always, I will see you in the next video.